Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is an analysis of the Dark Souls 3 DLC trailer that they've released, and I've slowed it down to about 40%. So, we're just going to react to some of the stuff that you see. I have no idea what we will see, and my preview monitor is perhaps not the best, but we'll deal with it as the ominous tones begin to tell us. Oh. Poor man's had a stroke, unkindled one. Beware of the snow, lots of snow, hopefully it's not like the frigid expanse, what a shit pit that was. I can't even remember that place's name because I've only been there once and I'll never go there again. But I do like snow. If you are like us. Isn't it interesting that they've used that word, other forlorn souls? It's a great word, but it's also perhaps a reference to Dark Souls 2, because on Scholar of the First Sin, of course, there was the forlorn. She looks really long. Is she from Bloodborne? How long are your legs? And no place to call your home? That looks creepy. Some really nice lighting in this, isn't there? It's a shame the frame rate will be about 25 frames at perhaps all times. Oh, look, it's self-flagellating. It's whipping itself as an act of contrition. Interesting to see that. Very dark as well. It's cool too because if you remember in the Cathedral of the Deep, there's a whip near the altar, isn't there? Near that first bonfire. Then there's that dude praying, wearing some cool looking armor, which I assume is maybe a new gesture and a new set of armor on a player character, or if it's not, it's a cool looking NPC. It can be difficult to find the context of what you're watching when you slow certain things down because it can be tough to tell what it is. Okay, so this looks like a firekeeper lady who's got really dirty hands. Get them washed. She's embracing some kind of mound of ash, perhaps. We've got an extended black screen. Here we go. Dark Souls. The first game. Remade on the new engine. Coming in October. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Can you imagine Dark Souls 3's controls in Dark Souls 1? It would be such a different game. Can you imagine if Dark Souls 1 was as fast as Dark Souls 3? Or if the PvP was as bullshit? So we've got a wolf, which people are going to say safe because they always do. We've got a snowy bridge. People are going to say painted world because they always do. Got a dude holding a torch in the middle of a blizzard. I don't know how that makes sense. It's not exactly scientific, but we'll let him off. We've got really bombastic music. Look at these scrubbers too. These look horrible. I don't like creepy crawly fly men with glowing faces, and that's what they look like. We've got a really beastly looking armoured giant knight character with a big axe and some really big hits. That hit him as well, which is a bit disconcerting, as he powers himself up with a nice ground pound. Very reminiscent of the Tale of Calamite sword. Oh, here we go. Destructo Disc! Taking out those skeletons that take about 2 hits from any weapon because they're crappy anyway. So what does he do? Throws magic at them like a beast. A lot of wolves in a room that the frame rate's going to shit the bed in, guaranteed. Here he does with the fire-breathing act from Batman Returns against a bunch of scrubbers on the floor in Irithyll. And then we have another interesting spell for the spellcasters that nobody plays as because FromSoft busted their balls and made them worthless. Just a bunch of eunuchs with phallic staffs and nothing much else. And then this dude coveting a piece of cloth, which I assume has some kind of significance. Maybe it's part of a firekeeper's dress, or it's Guinevere's rag. And he's giving it to this guy. At last. The ashes of what? Khan, did he say? Is it Khan from Star Trek? And the blood somehow knows to move towards this pretty grim looking goblet here, or bowl. And then we have Osiris for some reason. And we have the Nameless King hitting us. Hitting us a lot. Hitting us with... Everyone's hitting us. Who's playing this game? Are they trying to show that the hit stun's been changed, or the hit registration is... Come on now, nobody likes that move. Stupid move. And that is, of course, the Pyromancer guy. Who is this? Ugly lady with a big black... Wow, she's huge! How'd you get so huge? Something's burning. Always fun. That's going to make the frame rate shit the bed. I can't wait for that scene. Dancer 2.0. Oh, and it's the Ball of Doom. So, are we thinking that this is a massive bitch hitting us with a ball? Or, in Dark Souls terms, it could potentially be, like, possessed, darkened Guinevere smacking us with the Lord Vessel? Is that the theory everybody's going with? I don't know. Who else is that big in female form in the Souls games? Is it this Ariandel? Is that who it is? Is it like that parasite that ate... what's his face? Gwendolyn? Is there a new parasite that ate Guinevere and turned her into, you know, Corpse's lanky bride? I have no idea. I would love to say that we're going to be able to fight bosses in different places, which could almost infer that there might be a boss rush, which would be amazing. But there's no way that's going to be in a Souls game, because it just doesn't fit what they do. But there you go, guys. Season Pass comes out in, what did it say, 25th of October? There's a lot of interesting stuff in that. A lot of interesting stuff. I am most curious why it's showing bosses hitting the player. It's either to tell you that they're tweaking the poise system that doesn't exist, they're tweaking the hitstun system, which is always interesting, or there's some kind of refight bosses slash old bosses in new places, which, if that's true, can you imagine if you played that game and, can you remember, when these games are advertised, they always say the same fucking thing, don't they? We want to change the formula of the level. We don't want it to be level then boss, level then boss. We want this idea of it being unpredictable. And in the second game, they were mentioning how you might fight a boss at the midway through the level, and if you kill it there, you don't fight it at the end. And then, of course, when we played the game, we realised that occurred to what? Duke's dear Freya and the Pursuer, and that was almost it. Nothing else was even remotely close to what they promised, because, of course, the game cycle wasn't giving them the chance to make that a reality because it was just too difficult. And then Dark Souls 3, what did they say about Dark Souls 3? Because I can remember all kinds of stuff. Things like the bosses would transform throughout the fight, and sometimes you would fight something completely different than you would another time. And then when we played it, what happened? They all had 3 phases and they were all fucking easy. Like, yeah, there you go, nothing different. You don't fight any of them early, you don't fight them anything exclusively. None of them transform into anything unique or different. They all do the same thing every single time. So whatever that could have been never came to be. And then we have this DLC, which I'm really excited for, because more Dark Souls is always a good thing. What about you guys? What did you guys see? What did you guys know? I know there's probably a lot of videos, a lot of speculation. I haven't watched any of them, and in truthfulness, I'm just looking forward to playing it. I'm not too bothered about, you know, every frame of every potential rumour and all that kind of stuff. But I know a lot of people are, so feel free to indulge yourself if that's you. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.